Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is another episode of the Advanced Platformer in Unity series, and in this video we are going to finally replace this boring character with an actual animated model. So in order to do that, we first of course need an animation and a model for and like some sprites for the actual character. And of course my purpose is to show you the basic principles, and you can apply them to any kind of character you want. You can like make it anything, so you can have your own sprites and you can use those to animate and whatever. But for now I'm going to go under window package manager, and there I'm going to use a free package that you can get on the Unity asset store, or you can download it from devassets.com. And it's basically like it's got a bunch of different characters in it, so we are going to use that basically. So you can see I have opened up my package manager here. This has finished loading, and I have opened up this free 2D mega pack. We are going to use this pack by dev assets to actually kind of have basically all of different assets in our game. It contains a bunch of different assets that we are not going to use, but we'll just use the stuff that we want and we'll delete the rest later. So you can just press on this import button to import it. I have already imported this, and we have got this in this folder here, and the character that we want is called astronaut. So we are going to go under astronaut and copy that, and then we are going to go back under sprites and paste that here. So this sprites is basically like a custom folder that we can use to store our sprites, because we do not want to dig in this folder every time we want to open up that. So we'll just have a custom folder here, and we'll store all of the sprites we need here, and in the end when you can just delete this folder. So in sprites you can see we have got that, and if I go under sprite editor, you can see that the thing is that these that we have got, all of these objects, these are like this is a sprite sheet, which means it contains each and every sprite of the astronaut in a single image, and then it has already been sliced up into different stuff here. And if I for example select my player, I have removed the sprite of the player here, and I'm going to take astronaut 1 for example and add it here. Now you can see we have got astronauts walk 1, and you can see that its origin is at the wrong position. In fact, that's how it is from each one of them. Each of them has got the origin at the wrong position, not exactly wrong, but it's at the feet, and yeah, that's not really working well. It's like this origin is not correct here. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to figure out like a way to move this sprite a bit down, so that we can kind of make it work better. So we'll add another like a 2D sprite here. Let's just add a scare, and we'll call this our actual sprite. The reason for that is because we want to go ahead and be able to move this without actually moving the whole character. In the character we are going to remove the sprite render component. Now in the actual sprite you can see that our character compared to our character's position, our sprite is a bit high, so we are going to move it down to around -1. So let's move that down to -1, and if I select my player, now you can see that it's kind of at the right position, but it's not exactly at the right position. We'll need to move that down further, or we can also scale it down perhaps. So if I go in here, you can see this is the size of our sprite right now. I'm going to scale that down to 0.75 on both axes, on both x and y. We are not going to touch the z because this is just 2D, and you can see that it now works better, but we are still going to move the sprite down a little bit to say 1.25 for example. And if I select the player, you can now see that it is almost in the center, and we'll need to kind of increase the size of our capsule collider a bit. So we'll increase the size on x as well, and on y a bit as well. So we'll move that, and yeah, that is going to be our size on x, and that's going to be size on y, and we are also going to move it a bit lower on y. Actually that is perfect. So now we can just save that, and we currently don't have any animation of course, but we are going to just test to see if the sprite looks alright with the gravity and all of that. So if I get that, you can see that it falls down, and it kind of looks okay, I guess. So we have got that working, and now the next thing that we want to do is we want to kind of figure a way out for basically making it so that the astronaut sprite animates instead of just being static. So in order to do that, we'll have to create an animation, and by default I'm going to set the sprite to be the astronaut idle sprite. So let's open a sprite here and set it to astronaut idle. because by default our astronaut is just sitting there not doing anything. So let's run that now, and you can see that our astronaut is basically, yeah, that is it's working. The sprite seems to be at the correct position. So now what we can do is we can move on to the fun part, which is the animation. I have already created an animations folder here, and that is where we are going to store all our animations. So here I'm going to open up the animation window, which you can just go under window and general and choose animation here, or you can just press control, well, it's not really here. Oh yeah, in animation you can just press Ctrl 6 to open it up, and you can see I'm going to select my sprite, and it's going to say, in order to animate, please create an animator and an animator's clip. So we're going to do that. Go under our animation folder, and in here we are going to create an animation which we are just going to call run. Now this animation is basically going to be like that. We have got this animation here. Of course currently it does not do anything. What we are going to do is we are going to move that animation window up here somewhere, and we are going to select all 6 of these and move those here, and we are going to space that out something like that. Now let's bring this down here and run it, and you can see that this is the speed at which the animation is running. Maybe a bit too fast. Let's move it up to like that, and that seems about right. So let's try to run this, and it should not actually work as far as I can see. Yeah, it does work. So you can see that we have got this, but currently our animation is yeah, it seems to be running at about the right pace. Of course it's just running and it's not going to stop at all. So of course we want to make sure that our animation stops when like we stop moving. For that we'll look into the animator. Currently we have created one animation. Now we have got run here. We are going to create a new clip inside of animations, of course, which we are going to not call run. Instead we are going to call this idle. Now in the idle animation I'm just going to paste the idle sprite that we have got here, and if I run this it won't be very interesting because it's just one sprite and our sprite will kind of look boring really. But this astronaut thing that we have got here, it only comes with like a single sprite for idle. So if you've got like multiple idle kind of thing, so if you've got a sprite sheet or you have created one yourself that supports multiple sprites for idle animation, which means an actual animation, not a static sprite, then you can paste all of those here and they should just work the same way. We are going to add yet another one here called jump. It's because they are basically these 3 things that we have got currently, and we are going to basically move this here. Let's move the jump animation here, and it's also going to contain a single sprite here, and you can see it does not do much except just show the jump animation. Of course run is a dynamic animation and it does show the astronaut is running. So yeah guys, this is pretty much it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one, in which we'll actually get started using an animator, because in this video we only created the actual animation clips, but we did not set up the animator here or any of that stuff that would make our astronaut display the right animation. Currently it will only display like the running animation or some other animation, only a single animation. It won't be able to switch between them correctly. So what we need to do right now is to kind of make sure that our astronaut displays the correct animation at the correct time, and that is what we are going to do in the next video. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with other people as well, and bye.